What's up, Kart Lifers? Sammy D here with a video talking all about Mario Kart World. We did my reaction video. I might have another one of these or two. We have the Direct on Thursday. Not going to be covering this game in full, but after 4 years of covering Mario Kart Tour with you guys, I got a lot to say about this next installment. Very excited. Since the Direct reaction that we posted, there's been a lot that has come out. A lot of gameplay footage, the treehouse footage, and all kinds of insights and observations. I'm going to comment about all of it and my thoughts on a lot of it. Out of the gate, I need to say something. I need to get this off my chest. Stop complaining, YouTubers, everyone, about the idea that driving on a somewhat straight path from one track to another would be boring in some way. Just stop. And you actually notice this is already dying down. After the first couple days, you know, all the YouTubers have to have this take. Oh, I don't know, this looks pretty straight and boring and dull. Guys, give the game a chance to show you what it's doing. Give the developers the benefit of the doubt for a dang second. You haven't played the game yet, and I'm sure they're going to make this interesting. I wanted a Mario Kart game where you can just drive straight lines on a long road forever, like Forza Horizon style. Guys, I'm excited to see what this is. I don't know if they're called intermissions or not. People are starting to use that word intermissions because it's shown in the menu, and my theory on that is that intermissions are not the tracks between tracks, the connecting paths. Intermissions are going to be that you can actually pause during these rallies and okay, I'm gonna rest my hand for a second, get a drink of water. It's gonna show a quick update on the score or something like that. I don't see them calling the in-betweens intermissions. An intermission is when you take a break and don't do anything. But maybe it is, I don't know. I'd call them connectors, but we'll have to see. There's hundreds of these connectors through the entire world of Mario Kart World. And I just have to express how this entire open world Mario Kart concept is something I've been dreaming of forever. I always said that Mario Kart Tour was the Mario Kart game I never knew I wanted. Because it was like endless replay value, changing every 2 weeks, every day a new challenge, amazing replay value for your own improvement of your skill and your scores. But Mario Kart World is going to be the game I always knew I wanted, because I was looking through my sketchbooks. This is not like I want credit for predicting something, but I literally have in my notebooks Mario Kart World logo designs from 4 or 5 years ago. I started drawing a map where you could connect all these tracks and do this exact thing. And it's not like I'm the only one who's thought of this. A lot of other YouTubers eventually, after we've waited so many years for new Mario Kart, have talked about this, that we just need a story-based game. Diddy Kong Racing is obviously the touchstone a lot of people reference, with some kind of hub world and missions and etc. Mario Kart DS missions. We've all known this is where it's possibly heading, but I have to say that the fact that Nintendo Switch 2 is launching with this title, you know, it's already a slightly tough sell to sell this console to people, because, you know, the average family I know, the average mom and dad and kids that are, you know, friends with my friends, they have the Switch. It's going to be a tough sell already to buy the Switch 2. They have to sell it on this game, and it has to be the best possible launch game. The fact they're not launching with a 3D Mario, an open world Mario, it says a lot about the confidence behind this game, and I think on Thursday we're going to see a lot more. They have said over and over again in all the Treehouse interviews, other interviews, that tune into the Mario Kart Direct. They're counting the Mario Kart Direct down on their social media and on the app, and they're making a big deal out of this Thursday Direct. It's coming. We're going to learn a lot more, I think, specifically about the free roam mode and or a type of story mode. I don't know if they are two separate things or one, but I'll talk about that more. But they have to sell the console on this game, and it actually has made me reassess how I think they would even do a open world Mario. You know, we all assumed that we would get like a Breath of the Wild style Mario game at some point soon, maybe as the next 3D Mario, and I would love that. I would love to collect all the, you know, types of mushrooms and everything and have your inventory and do this whole open world Mario thing. But it's almost like they said, let's just do that with Mario Kart, and let's make Mario Kart be the open world game. Because it's hard to imagine how they would do the open world Mario once Mario Kart World comes out. Because it's the same type of world. You're in the Mushroom Kingdom, the same terrains and biomes and everything. I don't know, I think this will push back now, the years into the future, the idea of an open world Mario game, in my opinion. And the next 3D Mario we might get, which will probably still happen in the next year, maybe Holiday, will be some kind of extension of the Bowser's Fury mode or the Mario Odyssey formula, where you're in different kingdoms. It's not one set open world just in the Mushroom Kingdom. But I digress. I meant to lead with this too. Guys, ground tricks. Ground tricks. Why is everyone not talking about this? They are starting to say in the other YouTube videos out there that yes, you can do tricks whenever you want. But this is a massive deal. They're allowing you to charge up your trick while you're driving and just trick. Just trick. Trick while you're gliding, whenever you want, as many times as you want to. Trick onto the wall, trick off of the wall, trick off of the rails. Just trick off the straight up ground. Trick off the shockwave caused by a blue shell in the water, which is an amazing touch. One of probably 100 little details that everyone's noticed watching all this footage. Interacting with all of these elements all over the world. But specifically that you can be driving and charge without doing a drift boost, a mini turbo from a drift. You can do that too, but you can just do a trick off the ground. So in terms of like the competitive nature of Mario Kart Tour, I kind of dabble in the competitive scene. I observe what's going on in the competitive scene. I listen to great YouTubers like HG Rookie, and like this changes everything, man. Like just the fact that doing a drift and getting that turbo after the drift is not the only way to get a speed boost anymore. You're going to be basically tricking through the entire track, most likely. You're tricking all over the place. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Ground tricking is what I've heard that Shortcat, another great YouTuber, probably the best coverage I've seen of the game has been from Shortcat and from HG Rookie. No shade to all the other YouTubers, but we need the next level of analysis here, guys, not the clickbait headlines. I'm done with the clickbait headlines. I'm done with the rat race of trying to glom onto the latest trend of what is popular to say about this game, like the fact that these straightaways are going to be boring. Get out of here. So you have this open world, and a big concept I want to say is that I'm excited. I'm very, very excited. But when you set up this idea, it creates certain expectations and hopes. And honestly, between the Direct and Thursday's Direct, this 2-week period, I have watched the expectations and hope for this game grow to such a size. It's crazy, man. Among the fan base, you almost have to be prepared to be disappointed on some fronts. This is why I always say hype responsibly. Hope responsibly is what I would say now. You got to hope responsibly, because not everything's going to be in this game. All the baddies you want are not going to all be in this game. All the tracks you want are not going to be in this game. And that's okay. That's totally okay. But what I'm going to get at is that in the kind of realism of this world, right? You have this world, all the tracks are in these different areas based on geography and climate and everything like that. And it does kind of beg the question of, well, why isn't this track or type of world part of this? Why isn't this? Let's put Rainbow Road aside for a second. We know Rainbow Road's in the game. It was leaked as an icon. It's obviously going to be an in-game area after you finish everything else, most likely. But let's just give a couple examples that have come to my mind. And this pertains to them possibly doing DLC and expanding the map. I hope they will, obviously, to other islands, to other continents maybe around the side. But you think of something like Yoshi's Island, Yoshi Valley, okay? Yoshi Island, a great new nitro track. Yoshi Valley, there's other Yoshi themed tracks. In this world we're looking at, where is the Yoshi land? It's not there. That breaks the spell a little bit for me. I need it to be there. I need there to be some kind of Yoshi area. I need there to be some kind of DK area. Where's DK Jungle, DK Jungle Parkway? If this is the world as we know it in Mario Kart, where are those areas? Not even every track. I don't need every track to be in here. But certain tracks kind of, they seem like, that should be somewhere here. The Peach's Castle itself, Royal Raceway, is not here. We have this Peach Stadium, which I guess is around a newly refurbished Peach's Castle. But once you start getting into the technicalities of like the world of Nintendo Mushroom Kingdom, there's no canon geography to anything. Everything is constantly remade and redone, which is why all the tracks are complete reinterpretations of the retro tracks. And I'll get to that in a second. But Yoshi's area, DK's area. You could even say Delfino. Like, obviously, it would be great to go over to Delfino Square to race as a DLC. You go to a new Isle Delfino. They could do a lot with that. They could do a lot with any of the Mario Odyssey kingdoms that they have not touched on. Of course, I guess those are different kingdoms, so you really do have to take a whole journey to get there, like you do in Odyssey. So I can understand leaving those out. But in terms of the Mushroom Kingdom itself, you look at, great locations that they've built into previous games, like Toad Town. So around Peach's Castle, you have Toad Town. It's a town made of toads. I always assumed in the next Mario Kart game we'd have a Toad Town track. They've used it in the Mario Party games. It makes sense, right? So in this world, where is Toad Town? And I'm not trying to be a stickler and say that this is disappointing per se, but I'm just saying once you create this scope, that you have this world, it does beg the question of where's this, where's that? And I wonder what they're going to do with that. I hope they do extend things with some DLC. As for, it could be free DLC, paid DLC. Everyone's saying that the cost of the game is already too much and they don't want to pay for DLC. Whatever, guys. Inflation. You look at inflation prices, this is actually cheaper than game systems and games used to be. So everyone needs to chill on that as well. But for Rainbow Road, I hope that we'll unlock Rainbow Road, and I do hope there's also more. Every Mario World game, you unlock a new world toward the edge. You unlock a world you didn't realize was there, either above ground or in a new realm, Star Road and this kind of thing. Mario Galaxy shooting off into all these bonus galaxies. So hopefully there's more. I think that all the interviews, like I said, they've said you're going to be impressed by the depth of this game, the scope of it. So I think that it'll be good. And even if it's just the 32 tracks or whatever, which seems low, with all these connectors and the whole open world of it all, it's going to be a vast game. And I'm very excited, man. Like, I just can't tell you guys enough how much I and a lot of you I know agree have always wanted to just explore the Mario Kart world. I gotta tell you, here's what my approach is going to be. The way I approach Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I know I take way more time than most people. Most people blast through faster. I love taking my time with these kind of open world games. And I kind of realized, like, my approach is almost akin to if I were actually there in real life. So if I were there in real life and I started this game, wherever you start out, and I hope there is a kind of story mode to it. I don't even know if, in my mind, I'm going to go right into Grand Prix or knockout races. I almost think I could see myself, like, exploring first, going to where the tracks are, almost observing them, getting the lay of the land from afar, and kind of mapping out the whole world on my own before I even get into any racing. I know that sounds like extreme, but honestly, that's probably what I'm going to do. It's just so fun to explore the world. Let's talk about this idea of a story mode. On Thursday, we're going to know more about free roam, which is what they're calling the free exploration mode right now. And I say right now because I think there's like a 5% chance that it could be called something different when the game launches. Maybe 3% chance, extremely low. But my point is, when you look at the menu on the Treehouse footage and the gameplay footage that we're seeing from these events, the main menu of the game has, single player, multiplayer, blah, 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 blah. The bottom right corner says free roam with a little plus sign, almost like it's like a bonus content side mode that's not that important. That is super concerning to me that it wouldn't be a main mode. It's concerning because the people who want free roam to have a story to it, to have missions, to have possibly bosses, and this is what I meant by hope responsibly. Like, we want all this stuff, but if free roam is this little side menu down on the bottom right corner, could it just be a glorified way to take photos of you in different places? Well, no, it's going to be a little bit more to that, you have to say, because of the P-switch, the coin, and what was the other collectible? The P-switch, the coin, anyway, the little collectibles there. They're shown in free roam mode. No one has been seen activating a P-switch. I don't know why. What's his name? The YouTuber, Mads, All About Mads or whatever. he was like waiting, when you're waiting for a race to start with people, you can explore. And he went way off the beaten path and started discovering stuff like, and yes, spoilers in this video, but in addition to like driving into the semi-truck and Birdo taking over the semi-truck, you're going to be taking over other things as well. You're going to be completely transforming your cart into other things. Mads went off into the ocean, wave race style, and found a boat. He transformed into a boat, just waiting for the race to start. So someone, while they're waiting for a lobby at one of these events, could go find a P-switch, but you might need a feather to activate the P-switch. P-switches have been something I've always wanted them to add to Mario Kart. It's such an obvious and genius thing to include, and it's a legacy thing. I love the use of legacy things from previous games. P-switch is like such an underutilized concept. You could open up whole new sections, open up whole new challenges with the P-switch, a time-based thing where you're collecting a certain amount of coins. But in the case of this free roam mode, they're shown just as a collectible or with a tally by them, and we don't know what that's going to be. We'll probably find out Thursday. We don't know what the coins are. They're larger coins with Peach's emblem embossed or debossed into them. Don't know what they are. Coins in the races give you speed. We're going from 10 to 20 coins. But these coins, they can't pertain to speed. They're more going to be collectibles. And if you see on the certain map screens, each icon has slots for what appear to be like challenges. Just like the drivers have slots with question blocks for their outfits that you unlock. So I think that each level is going to have a certain amount of challenges that you're going to do in free roam mode. But then my question is, why is this called free roam mode and not just a single player story mode that's the first thing on the main menu in Mario Kart World? I don't know how much of a story mode it's going to be. I don't know if you're going to start out as Mario and see, the way I always saw it is like you're Mario in your house in Toad Town or whatever, and you wake up and you get a letter from Peach and there's a tournament going and you got to start going around and preparing for a tournament, collecting your friends, exploring the whole world and building up your arsenal and your carts and getting ready for this big tournament. That's a great story mode to me. I don't know if we're going to have that or not. It might just be free roam and you have to collect things while you're in free mode. I don't understand why it's in the bottom right corner of the menu. So let me know your thoughts there. Do you see what I'm saying? That this is a sort of discrepancy that I'm not quite understanding what they're doing with yet. But yeah, the world building is awesome, man. About the tracks, ooh, man, these have been a little bit tough for me to adjust to. I gotta be honest, but not as tough as they have been for others. What I've always said through Kart Life in our videos is that you need to let go of the idea that from platform to platform, they're going to keep the exact same layout of tracks. People get very attached to their old layout of tracks. If you grew up with DS, if you grew up with Wii, if you grew up with Mario Kart 64, like my old timing ass did, they are never going to recreate those exact same layouts. And when Sky Garden came to Mario Kart Tour, all these DS people or whatever were really upset about this. They thought they destroyed the layout. They've always been changing the layouts. Even just a slight change to the scale, it's never going to be exactly the same. I've tried to impart this to you guys just so you can understand that this is going to keep happening. We finally get a Wario Stadium remake, and of course it's completely different. You thought they would do the exact same track at that length, with that width, that scale, and everything. Even if they did, you wouldn't be able to do the jumping over the wall shortcuts. Guys, it's going to be completely different, and it is. And that's an adjustment for a lot of people, but I feel like I've prepared myself for this. What I haven't quite prepared myself for is the fact that they've completely changed the concept of so many of the tracks. Like Dino Dino Jungle. Dino Dino Jungle. I've always called it Dino, get over it. It's now a scientific laboratory for, like, I guess, Jurassic Park style growing dinosaurs. I don't like that. I don't, it breaks the spell. There's very little lore in Mario Kart. Hang on, use the very little lore that you have, man. Use it, keep that very little lore that we have. Why rebrand the thing completely? Especially after, look at Choco Mountain. Choco Mountain came to Mario Kart Tour, and you had this brilliant reimagining of it that's done the perfect way, where the middle of the mountain has been mined out and you see all the diamonds in there. So it's the same track, they've just carved into it. This new Chaco Mountain, it's called N64 Chaco Mountain. It not only doesn't have anything to do with the original track, it doesn't have anything to do with the tour track that they just released a few years ago. I don't understand completely remaking it. Why not just call it something new at that point? They're doing such a great job at taking the track and building these worlds around them, like Shy Guy Bazaar, having this castle that's you're evoking Sarasa Land, and these other areas surrounding the track. All that is brilliant, man. The world building around the tracks, it's chef's kiss, right? You're exploring outside of the track. You're seeing how it would connect to the landscape in between. I love this. I can't wait to explore all these areas and interstitial zones. But it breaks the spell for me when you completely remake a track like Chaco Mountain or Dino Dino Jungle into something it never was. I guess you could come up with some kind of lore way of explaining it, but you really have to bend your head into a pretzel. So I don't know how I feel about it. Let's go through the map real quick. I want to talk about the map. And again, I'm just talking off the cuff here. I've got no graphics and visuals, guys. You guys have seen the maps. You can pull them up. You know what's up. You know what's going on. So I'm going to look at the map here. Here are all the routes. You see just how many routes we have. We have probably almost an infinite amount of combinations. I think someone may have actually counted up the number of possible paths you can take. Of course, a lot of people want the rallies, the knockout tours, to be customizable eventually, where you can create your own rallies. It makes total sense. You should be able to connect to all of these, right? You should be able to connect to any path you want. I don't see why you wouldn't. So even if Nintendo doesn't officially create alternate rallies, what I think you're going to have is you're going to have a massive community movement of people creating their own rally sequences. This is absolutely going to happen. This happens with all Mario Kart games. The fans come up with their own tournament type things they can do within the world of the game, and you're going to have a lot of that. It's going to be really exciting for the fan community potential for what you can do with this world. Time trials, race from Bowser's Castle to whatever, DK Pass. How fast can you do it? Even if that's not a rally, what's the time? What's the world record for getting from there to there? I mean, just think of the possibilities of how many awesome competitive things we're going to be able to get out of this game. That alone is just absolutely massive. I'm going to start in the center. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to just talk about the tracks. Peach Stadium, again, typical, very, very Mario Kart 8 looking. I guess it's built around what is actually Peach Castle. I can't tell. They've redefined it. Peach Castle has looked totally different in millions of games, so I'm not going to be a purist about it being the real Peach Castle or not. But it's a stadium. We have Rainbow Road floating just kind of above it in this open area. That's going to unlock later, maybe through a pipe. We do have pipes in the game. I'll say more about that later. Okay, I'm going to go top. Oh gosh, how am I gonna do this? Okay, whatever. Scatter shot. Koopa Beach. It's not 64. It's SNES Koopa Beach. It's reimagined. What they've done is they've taken the SNES tracks, Koopa Beach, Chaco Mountain, and Mario Circuit. It seems like and Ghost Valley. Those are also in there. They've merged 3 of the SNES tracks to kind of be locked together and make a little bonus track. In the case of Koopa Beach, I think it's a reimagined complete version of the SNES tracks. They're part of it, but it's also got other things added to it. Again, all rules are out the window, guys. They are not adhering at all to the layouts of previous tracks or how you even conceive of previous tracks. It's reimagining every retro course almost from the ground up. There's only a couple, like Toad's Factory, that feel 100% faithful to the original. In most cases, it's a complete reimagining. You just have to accept that. It's hard even for me to accept that, but let's just see how they do it. DK Spaceport, we've seen. Well, let's go with what we've seen. Mario Bros. Circuit is the Cars Route 66 style track. It looks great. It looks like a starter course. We're probably going to start heading that way. Whistle Top Summit, awesome train style track. I love the concept here. DK Spaceport is probably one of the coolest looking to me, just in terms of the skybox, the environment, the ocean, the waves underneath. with the colors, the way they're doing the color palette on that one is just beautiful. Crown City is going to be used multiple times. We're going to have certain tracks that are repeated. And again, this is an adjustment we all have. It's like, it's a little disappointing at first that it's used in multiple cups, for example, daytime, night version. But I think the city's big enough that from what we've seen, we're going to have different routes on both. So the daytime and the nighttime Crown City, you might as well think of them as completely different tracks. They may not even have any overlap at all. But again, with my like, what's missing here, if this is the big city of Mushroom Kingdom, you know, where are all these other cities? Where's Coconut Mall? Like, why can't Coconut Mall just be next to Crown City and it's part of the game? You know, they could really do a lot with adding additional locations into this world. Over on the West Coast, you have Desert Hills DS. Not a lot to say about that yet. Haven't seen tons of footage of it just yet. Shy Guy Bazaar, completely reimagined. We've only seen it at daytime, and I don't know if they're going to do this day-night thing. I don't know how they're going to do that. We've seen the Crown City, the 2 tracks, it's day and night, like I just said. But we haven't actually not seen every track in different day-night settings yet. And I do hope they do that. I hope that it does change. Maybe it's locked in for the demo. I think a lot of stuff is locked in for the playable demo that everyone's been playing. But we've only seen it in the daytime, and it is great. I've always wanted to see Shy Guy Bazaar in the daytime. It's got this Sarasa Land style castle in the background. They're kind of mixing and matching worlds there. You know, I don't believe Shy Guys were in Mario Land with Sarasa Land, so it's a little bit convoluted there. Again, I wish it was a little bit more true to the canon of the lore, but you know, whatever. I guess we'll take what we can get. There's a UFO in the sky, so people are already noticing the connections to Mario Land. Daisy is shown driving around this course a lot, and we even have the Toko, is that what they're called? The big stone head guys from Mario Land are seen in this game. They're probably going to be, if you ask me, another unlockable baddie driver, and we'll get to that in a second. Airship Fortress is back. Again, a lot of people are saying this is true to the original, but it's still pretty different. The scale is quite different. We'll see. I mean, it's generally the same layout, yes, but it's going to be transformed a little bit. And of course, we had it in Tour as well. Everyone wanted it in the Booster Course Pass. Finally, it's here. Wario Stadium 64, again, looks totally different. It's a letdown. I gotta say, it's a letdown. I think everyone wanted to... Again, I'm not trying to be too much of a stickler or a purist, but there's something that is lost when you abandon the look and feel of an original retro track. The blue stadium, the brown dirt, adding a bunch of fire and pyrotechnics where, like, if you squint your eyes, Wario Stadium just kind of looks like Waluigi Stadium now. You can't really, they don't feel that different. I think a big part of what we love about certain Mario Kart tracks is how they look and feel. And when you change it completely, there's a little sense of, oh, okay, a little deflated sense in every fan out there, I think. Bowser's Castle is going to be a big new Bowser's Castle. It's a new Nitro. You know, we're losing this distinction a little bit though, because when you have a retro come back, it's really reimagined. So you almost think of them all as new tracks in a way, and half of them are inspired by old retro tracks. That might be a better way to think of it. Dry Bones Burnout, haven't seen much footage from this one, and I'm kind of watching everything with my eyes half squinted, because I really want to save a lot of discovery for myself. But this is going to be a new track up near Bowser's Castle. You're going to also have the Big Donut. We haven't talked about this, but battle track arenas have been spotted. The Big Donut, I get, there's a slight chance it's not the Big Donut. There's like a 10% chance. But it does look like Big Donut. I don't know how they're going to do battles in this game, but it is cool they're bringing in the geography of the Big Donut as part of the Bowser's Castle world. I love that. These are the exact kind of details I was just saying I love them adding in. Bring in this little thing that would fit perfectly right there. Toad's Factory Wii, very true to form. Everyone's very hyped to have that back. Choco Mountain 64, I don't know what they were thinking with this one. Maybe it's been completely mined, and maybe I'll have a turnaround on it where, like, literally in the lore, you know, they start mining the diamonds in Mario Kart Tour and blowing out sections of the mountain, and by the time we get to this game, they've just, it's full like fracking, you know, just like destroy the whole mountain, and now you're just like, you have a racetrack where the mountain used to be, I guess. I don't know, man. Acorn Heights up in the top, going to be a new woodland type track, looking very similar to like a Wild Woods meets Maple Treeway type of thing. Mario Circuit SNES is a track set. They've merged the 3 SNESs for that, but you have the Ghost Valley ones near Boost Cinema that have not been announced as their own track. They're just part of the connector. What some people are calling an intermission, I don't think that's called an intermission. Again, I think we should call it a connector or something like that. Moo Moo Meadows, appearing famously in every Mario Kart game lately. Of course, the Moo cow driver, as soon as she appeared on the screen, it was the meme of the year. It's probably what's selling this game to people more than anything is that cow alone, which is insane. But whatever, I don't care too much for Moo Moo Meadows being back. But again, I love seeing how they're expanding these out. I saw a snippet of game footage where you're in the Moo Moo Meadows in the farm and you're going through this like barn, this inside barn, you know, where they cram all the cattle in and factory feed and factory produce all of your dairy. If you drink dairy, you shouldn't, you should be vegan. But that's just my opinion. Moo Moo Meadows looks lovely, and I love driving through the barn and these other areas of the meadows. It's so cool. Boost Cinema looks awesome, man. Like the idea of going into the film screen. Great idea for a new track. I think it should be fun. I love the look of it. Dandelion Depths. I think this is the... Oh, hold on. Is Dandelion Depths, is this the... Oh, yeah, that's right. So I think it's that we don't have a name yet. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Dandelion Depths, and then this like cheap, not lagoon, but what is it called? It's like cheap something. We don't have a full name for it. We only have like some translated name. They're right here next to each other, and the cheap one is like the Japanese. That's the one I'm most excited about. You know I love my Japanese tracks. I hope that one's gonna be awesome. It looks like there's some temples in it, some maple trees. Dandelion Depths, I haven't got a full sense of yet. I've watched a little gameplay. Again, I'm kind of trying to stay like, I'm not going to pay too close attention. I want to discover this world on my own. It's going to be a cool new retro track. Faraway Oasis, also very little footage of so far, but this is the Sahara type track with all the animals. We have Dino Dino Jungle, which they should just call Dino Dino Laboratories, and just make it a new track, man. Make it a laboratory that's adjacent to Dino Dino Jungle. And, oh God, I promise I'm going to keep this soapbox really short. Why redesign Noshi so hard? Noshi, the blue dinosaur from Dino Dino Jungle. I know I'm the only person who cares about this, which is weird because you guys all are obsessed with the cow thing. Why do you not care about Noshi, man? Noshi's awesome, and they redesigned Noshi completely, just like they redesigned Dory from Mario 64. Now it just looks like some generic DreamWorks Pixar dinosaur. Super disappointing, man. I hate that they redesigned Noshi like that. Whatever. Comment if you're in Justice for Noshi squad. I don't like that, man. I had Noshi in my original character wish list. Noshi should be the same design. Of course, upgrade it, make it look more modern, but keep him as Noshi, man, and make him a driver. Make him a driver. The Great Question Block Ruins looks cool. Again, I'm excited to discover that one. Salty Speedway is the big city, like kind of Venice-style city. DK Pass comes back. Same layout-ish, but it's pretty different. The scale is completely different. In other words, you can't just take your lines you know in your head from DK Pass that you've memorized, and you can't just apply them onto this track. No. First of all, the play control of this game is going to be completely different. It's going to take everyone weeks to master, or maybe days, but you know, every Mario Kart plays totally differently, guys. Get ready to learn everything all over again, and I cannot wait. Starview Peak looks cool. I guess for Odyssey kind of inspired track, it looks pretty cool. It looks a little just icy to me, but I would love to see more of it. I'm excited to see more. Sky High Sunday, I don't think anyone would have chosen that to be the Tour Nitro that they would have remade. I think, you know, the Piranha Plant Pipeline being missing is pretty crazy, because now it's gonna, if Mario Kart Tour ends and they discontinue to be able to use Mario Kart Tour, you're not even gonna be able to race the Piranha Plant Pipeline on any game. So, you know, again, up in the mountains, perfect spot to put Piranha Plant Pipeline, or put Koopa Cape, or just where are all these locations that are missing? I'll stop. Wario Shipyard, hey, no more underwater driving. I don't think anyone's going to complain about that, especially us tour players. Got really tired of underwater driving, really sick of it. It's terrible. So I love this whole wave race thing, man, like bouncing along on the waves. It's going to be really fun. I love the boats and the airplanes. I love it. This is another thing on, on my channel. We've speculated on all these kind of ideas you could do for Mario Kart, and it's come up many times. I talked about it on Switch Stop, the Nintendo Tonight podcast with Thomas, that the next evolution is just to go to boats and planes. Again, just like Diddy Kong Racing. Make sections where we're on a boat and we're riding a plane. Now, I love the planes to be very controllable. I can't tell yet. I'm a little concerned about the planes just being the same as gliding. It looks like you have a little bit more control over your glide. You can pull back, maybe a little bit extend. I would love it to be powered. I think that's the distinction a lot of people have made, I've heard, going around. Like, why can't it be powered planes? I guess then because you could take the whole track in your plane. Like, if you could pump the gas, use gas while you're flying and just never land, that would be awesome. But then you could just cut off the whole course. So they have to make you land. You're not even gonna be able to fly around completely freestyle. But hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's an improvement on the gliding just slightly. What I hate is like shooting out of a cannon. The thing I'm most tired of in Mario Kart, and I'm sure you guys are too, is launching out of a cannon and you're shooting up halfway over a track. You literally set your controller down, take a drink of your beverage because you're not even racing for 4 seconds. I'm so tired of being locked into a cannon or something like that. Take that out. Although it is cool that on the city track with the cars in the connector section, one of them, you can drive into that cannon car and it shoots you forward and you literally land with physics. I love that. It's gonna be awesome. Peach Beach is down there as well. People are excited to see that back. It says Peach Resort on the building, so they've expanded this concept. Peach Beach is at some kind of resort. So I love the world building. This is exactly correct, man. Like, you always wonder, where is Peach Beach? What is this place I'm at? Oh, it's a resort. Now it makes sense, and we're gonna expand that world a little bit. So good. That's the map, guys. That's the map. I've gone through most of the map. I do have to say one little thing I saw. There's this section. Yeah. Look at this. This section down here, man. Down under the castle, do you see that bridge? So it's this long bridge. It almost is, it reminds me of the long bridge over Lake Hylia in Breath of the Wild. But it's this long bridge going over the ocean, and in the middle of it, no one's talked about this. What is this? It's a gate. Why is there a starting gate? And this is directly under where Rainbow Road will be. If you see this right here. Rainbow Road right here under Peach Stadium. So what is that gate? Is that gate for Rainbow Road? Is that part of it? Of course, also cool star lake up there. I hope you can explore around up there. What is that bridge, man? And how do you unlock Rainbow Road? Are we talking like, is this going to be an end-game thing where you're collecting rainbow fragments? We saw Homo the rainbow fragments. Again, so much great story mode potential that you could easily do with this game. Okay. There's so much more to say. I'm already talking for 40 minutes. Drop a like on this video if you just like hearing me randomly talk about stuff. But God, man, I can't wait to explore this world. The hide and seek potential. Hide and seek is a whole thing Mario Kart YouTubers have done. I just discovered this somewhat recently. Go hide in some place and have someone look for you. How cool will it be to have a group of friends and play hide and seek? You could like hide anywhere in the world and try to have people find you. There's so much fun potential here. The character designs are good. Of course, we got the new DK. Lakitu has been substantially redesigned, and I love the Lakitu design. No one's talking about this. Lakitu, however you want to call him. They basically replaced his original white eyeballs from how he used to look back in the day. I love that, man. Rather than just like the black specks. So his eyes look cute. He looks incredibly cute in general. And his shell has changed back to, is it red to green? His shell has reverted to his original color. But with all these side baddies, basically what everyone has kind of determined is that you have all these random side characters that are now drivers. Swoop, Peepa, everyone. And they may unlock in different terrains, because they are all kind of tied to certain track areas. For the most part, they seem to be tied to certain areas. This could be from the open free roam mode. One thing that everyone caught is that when you see Sultan Wario driving around the desert, you see Nabbit down there walking around on his own with some scraps on the ground. So I really do hope that in this free roam, it's one way to unlock characters. But we also see that Kamek is casting his spell and transforming you into characters. Some have said that's how you unlock characters. I forget if Nintendo representatives have confirmed this or not, but again, we'll learn more about this on Thursday. But there, you know, a lot of these characters, that the baddies that you're unlocking, are characters you see as hazards on the track. So if we take the same logic, you know, those Tokos or whatever they're called, those heads, other types of enemies you see on the track, like Boom Boom, for example, could become unlockable characters. Tristoon, great video from him yesterday as well. Great point that the Mii racing suits from Mario Kart Tour foreshadowed some of these. The Parabiddy-Bud. Is it just a coincidence that there was a Parabiddy-Bud Mii racing suit and now Parabiddy-Bud is a driver in Mario Kart World? I don't know. We also had Chain Chomp and Blooper Mii racing suits. So, I mean, if we get all these baddies but we don't get Blooper or Chain Chomp, that seems weird. I'm still adjusting to the idea that Kamek might not even become a driver ever in this game. But as a Kamek, one of the biggest Kamek superfans out there, if he's just the item and that's a part of the game, I'm okay with that, honestly. I just want Kamek to play a major role. And sometimes he plays a side role like this. Like in the Mario Party games, when he's not playable, he plays some other role. And I'm okay with that. I just want him to have a substantial role. I would love to drive with him too. Maybe eventually you can unlock him. We really don't know just how many more drivers there are. There could be easily 50 more drivers we don't even know about with this game, because there's so many baddies. And you start bringing in Sidestepper and these characters, and it does beg the question of, well, where's Blooper? Blooper is a basic baddie. So I don't know. So more will probably be coming, and we'll see how it all works. The carts are awesome. I love how they look. Something with cart customization is happening. First of all, off-roading does increase the size of your tires. Your tire also transforms when you're off-road. This is something that no one's really talking about yet, but some people on my Discord have caught. Great job on my Discord. My Discord has been the best place to find information, by the way, so far, about stuff people find. And I love that. I love off-road, because if you're exploring in free mode and you're in sand and dirt and grass half the time and your cart is going slow because of that, that's not going to be a fun way to free roam. When you're free roam, you want to be able to keep your speed up. You know, keeping the speed is really part of the fun of Mario Kart. When you're going slow in 50cc or something like that, it's never fun. I actually can't believe they did the demos for people in the 100cc. We really haven't seen how this operates at 150cc unless I'm mistaken. But with the cart customization, you're seeing these achievements that are unlocked. So in some of the footage, you see this pop-up at the bottom where it has a brand logo, like a sticker for banana whatever, and achievement unlocked. You drove this certain distance. So hopefully we're gonna have a major achievement system in this game where you're unlocking what might be decals. You know, Nintendo loves these collectible stamps and stickers. Of course, a stamp rally is very popular in Japan, this idea of collecting stamps from different places. We should have had that in Tour. We should have had a passport system with stamps. It's such an obvious, no-brainer, genius idea that I don't know why they did not include. We really should have a stamp rally in this game as well, but we're at least going to have some kind of sticker collecting. And these might be the decals you put on your cart. When you're selecting your cart, it does show the decal you've selected, and you can change it with the little button icon there, and it shows up by your name. So is this just for decorative purposes, like a badge in Mario Kart Tour, where you're just picking your favorite sticker to show off? It's going to be slapped on your cart, and it's just an aesthetic thing. Or does it have some purpose? Does it boost your acceleration to have certain badges on? Is there going to be more to cart customization? And this is where, once again, in the event footage we've seen, you've seen players ask the Nintendo reps, who they have their scripts they have to stand by and all their answers they have to say. And you know, someone asked, oh, can carts be customized additionally? And they said, you're going to want to watch the Mario Kart Direct to hear more about that. Maybe that's their blanket response to everything, but it does give me some curiosity that there's going to be more cart customization coming. I think there'll be more carts as well than what we're seeing. I think in general, everything we're seeing from the UI to the character select screen to the carts we're using, I think that's all built just for the playable demo. I don't think this is just like the starting batch of carts. I hope you unlock carts. I really hope they make full use of the potential of this game. Okay, so that's carts. Boat and plane we covered. The track choices, the maps, the Grand Prix. You know, there's some disappointment by some people that you're not just doing pure 4 racetracks with 3 laps each as a Grand Prix. You're doing these connecting sections. I'm not worried about it. I want to see how they do this, okay? I'm going to reserve judgment. Knockout rallies seem super fun, man. They seem, like we talked about earlier, the amount of custom potential you could get with rallies. I think it's really going to be a fun thing. The radio, when you're exploring in open world mode, or free roam mode, everyone's obsessed with these soundtracks you're going to hear. People are already asking me, Sammy, are you going to do more soundtrack reaction videos? Dude, there are already like 150 songs like in this game, man. I love this. They're bringing back so many previous themes, not just from Mario Kart, but other Mario games into the free roam mode and also the in-between. So you're hearing remixes, which I hate people call them remixes, but I'm really not trying to go on rants here, guys, but it's not really a remix. It's a rearrangement, okay? A new arrangement, a new version. I'm losing that battle. I'm never going to win that battle with people, but it's really cool to hear all this other music. In free roam mode, we really should have a Mario Kart radio. I've always said this, that when you're driving around exploring, you should be able to have a shuffle radio on that's got little DJ voice in there every now and then, or from some character, and it'd be playing even retro music. Like they should play like 8 and 16-bit music on Mario Kart radio as you're driving around. Missed opportunity if they're not doing that. I've always thought that would be so cool. Rainbow Road, expanding map with DLC, Kamek, items. So the golden shell, the coin shell. This is something I also talked about in previous videos. I think I talked about it on Kart Talk on an episode where we were trying to come up with new items that would create great action counts, you know, other than coin box and boomerang and giant banana. And the coin shell was a great idea. You just launch it, it leaves a trail of coins you follow, you get the actions for each one. Of course, we don't have actions in this game. Whatever, I thought actions could be cool to do, but they're not doing them. But at least it's the idea we've always talked about of a golden coin shell is finally in the game. The coin box is here, but it's a different coin box. I've been disappointed hearing some YouTubers, I'm talking big YouTubers say, this coin box works exactly as it works in Mario Kart Tour. No, it doesn't. Tell me you've never played Mario Kart Tour or taken it seriously without saying that. It clearly doesn't, man. The coins are popping behind you slowly. It's not an explosion of coins in front of you. It's a completely different style of coin box, but a coin box nonetheless. You're going to be giving coins to people behind you, I guess. The rails, they're driving along the rails. I'm jumping around just down my list here. I don't love locking into a rail. It seems like I don't know how much there is for me to do while I'm on the rail. But I'm going to reserve judgment. I almost feel like it's more fun to be on the track than just to lock into a rail for 5 seconds. But we'll see how that operates. I think there's so much potential. You're seeing the computer players go all over the walls, literally driving on walls. I don't really understand yet if and why you can just drive on any wall. You have to be able to charge a jump to get on the wall. I have seen that. But can you just literally drive on every wall? Is that what we're doing here? I don't know. Looking forward to seeing more, and again, reserving judgment. Gameplay in general, though, is going to feel very different. You're tilting and sliding all around. When you're knocking into something, just like I kind of predicted, your cart is almost going to be tilting all the way over. You're going to be using a whole new kind of set of physics in this game. I can't wait to see how it all feels. Lightning is shorter. Lightning got a big nerf. I know competitive players are excited about this. It kind of makes things stay more competitive. Lightning is shorter. You can be protected from lightning when you're under a ceiling. So if you're in a building area, you are shielded from lightning, which is insane. Feathers are back. You know, feathers are one of my favorite items. If you're a hardcore Kart Life viewer, you know I love the feather. So I really am excited to see the feather back. It looks like you have to use the feather to hit those question blocks that are on the tracks or in the free areas, and it looks like only coins come out of those boxes. I would love there to be different things that come out of those question blocks. Maybe there are, we'll see. Again, a lot might be limited to this demo that we're seeing. I think they are saving a lot of stuff. The Mega Mushroom and the Golden Mushroom, and maybe another item or two, I'm not sure, but they have a meter now. So that's pretty wild. I mean, you see this like colorful, watery meter go down as you're using those items, which you've never had before. Tumbling when you're hit, the way you're landing on your head, interacting with things in general, tricking off of lampposts and guardrails that are blown off the side, people knocking stuff all the way over and they're getting in your way, and you can trick off of them, and you can trick off other people's heads when you land on them. They've really opened it up so you interact with almost everything. This is really great to see. There's item cars going down the road. A crazy wind-up kamikaze cart that's shooting out item boxes. So you're not gonna have the typical amount of item sets. Let's say a track has 3 item sets. Well, now, how do you activate this car coming through? Does it come through at the same time on the same track every time you do it so you can count on that item? Or is it gonna be something random that is triggered by maybe even Kamek or something else? You know, Kamek makes things come to life. He also transforms you into baddies. So how is that item cart going to work? It's incredibly exciting. Tiny thing, but seeing the automatopoeia words like beep and boom come back from Mario Kart 64, and maybe they had it in Double Dash 2. This is a great throwback thing for me that I love seeing. And of course, warp pipes. Amazing that we're seeing warp pipes around. So much potential where you could use a warp pipe to get from one area of the world to another. I really hope they take advantage of this. There's footage that we've seen of one where you go into the warp pipe and it shoots you right back out in the reverse direction. I hope they're not all like that. I hope they transport you to different areas, potentially into Rainbow Road as well. Although I think the Rainbow Road reveal is going to be something even more epic than the Mario movie, where you're driving to Rainbow Road or you're flying to Rainbow Road. My prediction. Bee switches, can't wait to see. Coins, can't wait to see what they do. You should be able to buy stuff, but I don't know if there's going to be any buying of stuff. Looks like you unlock all outfits through eating food. The food is going to all be in different styles based on different areas. Burgers, Japanese takoyaki, the little octopus balls. That's even a thing. You're eating that actual Japanese dish, and you're unlocking outfits that way. I don't know what the purpose of outfits are. If they have any game advantage, do you choose then these characters with their outfits whenever you want to, once you've unlocked them? I think you do. And the current UI, like I said, with the character select screen, they're kind of shuffled in there randomly. I don't think that's how it's going to be in the final UI, but I don't know. But what's the point of outfits other than aesthetic? Why would I go out of my way to get the food item? Is it just to unlock all outfits? I'm pretty much assuming that after 3 or 4 days of playing the game, I would unlock all outfits, right? So that doesn't quite jive for me yet. Like, that doesn't seem right. There's got to be something that takes longer, because we're just all going to get all outfits within 24 hours. Just go find all the food things and you're done. That seems like, it seems like they'll want to draw it out in some other way, maybe. I don't know though. There's binoculars peppered around. Again, thanks to Tris for spotting this. I did not see that. The little binocular stations that we've seen from, what was it, Mario 3D Land? I think they have them in Odyssey 2 or 3D World, where you can go and view other areas. So these are shown in the land. You see these binoculars. I don't know if you can drive up to them and then look through them. Some people I know want you to be able to hop out of your cart. I don't know if they're going to animate 3D every single character to be able to free roam without their cart, but who knows? At this point, I really don't know. Gosh, guys. Camera settings. Camera settings are in the menu. Interesting. You have horizontal and vertical camera settings. Why would that be in there? In Mario Kart 64, you could zoom out, and I loved that because it made the track scroll faster, and it made you feel like you're driving faster. It was great. When you're closer up, it feels slower. When you're zoomed out, it feels faster. But to have a horizontal and vertical camera, why? Aren't we going to be locked into driving? I guess if we're exploring, are you also going to be able to control your camera as you're exploring? Or is that just for photo mode? I'm not really sure. The UI itself, I'm adjusting to. I love certain things about it, like the new assets, the new logos for like all the companies and the artwork, the Yoshi's Diner, all that stuff, the Nabbit icon. It looks fantastic. But I don't love the like character select screen. It looks a little like you're playing like a Minions app for kids or something like that. Speaking of Minions, where are Bowser's Minions? I don't know. They may unlock. Gosh, there's going to be so much more. And I'm going to call it here. We're just under an hour. I want to talk about Mario Kart World for about an hour and my thoughts on things. Again, I'm not going to cover this game in full, I don't think. Kart Life is what I wanted to do with this channel for Mario Kart Tour, and I really feel like I succeeded in doing that. I want to give you guys a real nice, heavy dose of in-depth analysis, just my random thoughts on what we've seen so far. I'll do this again after the Direct or maybe during the Direct. And I'll probably do it again once the game launches. And after that, I don't know, but I really appreciate y'all's support so much. The members who are still here, you know, this is for you. You are literally why I sat down and filmed this video. I could just be enjoying this game on my own, and I will be doing that. For me, Mario Kart's always been this amazing single player experience. I love playing with my friends, don't get me wrong. And shout out to all of my pit crew friends. You know who you are. We've had so much fun racing this game for dozens and dozens of hours together, but the idea of exploring this world by myself as a Mario Kart lifelong diehard, I'm so excited, man, to see whatever this game has in store. I would encourage you to keep your expectations low, hype responsibly, hope responsibly, and just let's take this game exactly for what it is. Exactly as it is, nothing more, no less. I'm sure there's a lot more they can do with it, some more that they will do with it in additional content, but can't wait to just see what they've got in store, man. They've been working on this for a long time, and it is really the Mario Kart in a way that I've always wanted. So we will see you guys after Thursday's Direct. Leave any comments below. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed the ASMR-esque sound of my creek and my little flowing water right here that I've got. This is my little zone, and love you all. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. Peace.